I was driving home alone from my friend's place, a remote house buried deep in the countryside. It was past 1 a.m., and exhaustion pressed heavily on my eyes. I debated crashing on his couch, but calling off work wasn't an option. So against my better judgment, I hit the road. The drive was long, stretching through endless farmland. The road was empty, silent except for the soft hum of my car and the low music playing to keep me awake. Just black asphalt ahead, swallowed by my headlights. Then, something appeared. A suitcase. I slammed my foot on the brakes, my pulse spiking. The suitcase stood perfectly upright in the center of the road, like someone had carefully placed it there. Not tipped over, not scuffed or damaged, just standing. My hands gripped the wheel as I stared at it, my tired brain struggling to make sense of it. It had to have fallen from a car, right? Maybe off the back of a truck. A strange unease crept up my spine, but I shook it off and steered into the opposite lane to drive around it. I wasn't about to get out and move it. The moment I passed, I pressed a little harder on the gas. A few minutes later, my heart finally settled. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was just making a big deal out of a truck, parked dead center in the road. I barely caught it in time, jerking the wheel as I screeched to a stop just feet behind it. No hazard lights, no movement, just a silent, hulking shape blocking my path. My headlights illuminated its battered exterior. Deep scrapes, large dents, accident damage, or something worse. I honked. Nothing. I leaned forward, trying to see through the back window. Pitch black, no outline of a driver, no movement at all. I swallowed hard and slowly pulled around the truck. My hands were shaking as I glanced inside. Empty. Why would someone abandon their truck in the middle of nowhere? And why was there no one around? A cold, creeping dread slithered up my spine. This felt wrong. Very wrong. My foot pressed harder on the accelerator. I needed to get home. Fast. Then, I saw him. A man stood in the road, directly in my lane, waving his arms frantically. My breath caught in my throat as I slammed the brakes for the third time. He looked rough. Mid-40s, disheveled hair, dirt smeared across his face, cuts on his hands and arms. He walked toward my window, a smile stretching across his face that didn't reach his eyes. "Hey," he said, his voice too calm. "Did you see a truck back there?" I hesitated. "Yeah. Think you could give me a lift?" My skin prickled. "Why?" I asked. "What happened?" His expression faltered, just for a second. "Ran out of gas. Been walking for miles." I frowned. "Shouldn't I take you to a gas station then?" He hesitated, just a fraction of a second too long. Then he started talking again, fast as if trying to distract me from thinking too hard. Something in my gut screamed at me to leave. Then my eyes flicked past him. And I saw it. A car, hidden deep in the crops on the side of the road, barely visible except for the faint reflection of one taillight in my headlights. My stomach twisted. I turned back to the man, and something in his face changed. The smile was gone. His eyes were dark, furious. He knew I'd seen it. I rolled my window up. His hand slammed against the glass. "Hey, hey!" I floored it. He screamed, pounding on the window as I sped past. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely keep control of the wheel. I grabbed my phone and dialed the police with my free hand. When they arrived, the truck was gone. But the car, the one buried in the crops, still there. And the driver inside wasn't alive. Not from an accident. The police said it looked like the driver had picked up a hitchhiker. That was the last thing he ever did. The suitcase, the truck, a setup, a trap. The man in the road? He was never found, never identified, just gone. But I know he's still out there, waiting for the next car to stop.